Game Time Decisions. We are here on a Tuesday night. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. And I got to tell you, I was talking to someone earlier today who just started listing off games, NBA games, baseball games, even hockey. Like, it's a great slate. So I will tell people this right now coming in. I don't have enough picks. Through this hour, where myself and Gabe are looking to give people picks, I'm looking to find picks out here, Gabe. I'm coming with 4. I don't think that's anywhere near enough on a night like this. Plenty of options.
Yeah, when you consider everything that's going on, there are a lot of options this evening. I got a 6-pack of picks for everybody tonight. But on top of that, Kevin, I can help you out, brother. If you need picks, I got picks, all right? Because we got a 6-pack to share with people. And I probably have another 6-pack or so of baseball props that sort of caught my eye.
There we go.
Right, so it's sort of like, you know what, that pitcher, this pitcher, that baseball game, that game. But, we can't give 14 picks here, especially when we have to save time for our cruise best bet of the day, Kevin.
That's true.
Right, I'm limited in what I can do here.
And he's 6'10" for anybody got a game coming flying off the card here? It's funny, too. I'm not surprised because I remember one night we were going through a couple of games, and I was mentioning it was a Heat-Cavs game. And I was like, I'm on Miami. And you're like, oh, I'm on the other side. I'm like, that wasn't on his card. That means there's hidden picks out there. That means
well, there's always going to be
the show.
There's always going to be secondary picks, right? That's just, that's just the way it's always going to be. Like I said, we can't give every pick that we like on the program. We'd be here all night. I try to pick my spots. And, it's one of these deals, though, I will say tonight, Kevin, there's a lot of games going on, but I find it to be kind of a tricky card. Tonight, like, it's sort of a nightly basis. Like the NHL, couple of spots, doesn't jump off the screen at me. Major League Baseball is always like a tricky sport to handicap as it is. We're early in the season, and we're into some of the teams' 5th starters and some teams' 1st starters right now, depending on the weird schedule that's played out. So a little bit of a tricky handicap. The NBA, and there's no college tonight. Tomorrow night we'll have a full slate of college. We'll have NIT. The Crown starts in Vegas. There's a new tournament starting in Las Vegas. So congratulations to Rutgers for qualifying to a postseason play, Kevin.
They got something. All right.
Yeah, the Crown really must have been like hard up to get teams if like Rutgers are in this tournament. I'm just calling it out for what it is.
It's fair. That's fair. I don't think.
But without being stated, we have the Knicks and the Rockets tonight. The Raptors and Pistons tonight. Some intriguing NBA games, and I'll just throw it at you right now, Kevin, because this is a team that you and I have spent a little bit of time talking about. This is the ultimate, absolutely, positively, ultimate gut check basketball game tonight for the Orlando Magic.
Oh.
Point blank. Yeah. You've lost 7 of your last 8 games. You just coming off of your worst loss in franchise history, for the record. Right? They lost by 52 points to the Toronto Raptors on Sunday night. They famously gave up a 31-0 run, and lost in this is they actually gave up a 21-4 run too, if you can imagine. So they got outscored 31-0 and 21-4 at separate times in their last basketball game. Like, if they don't show up and like run through a wall, specifically in the first half tonight, against a good Phoenix team, against Dylan Brooks back, but a Phoenix team that played last night. Should be noted, though, they won so easily that Booker and Green didn't play in the fourth quarter, Kevin. But I've got to sign myself up for duty tonight with the Orlando Magic. Like, if they have any semblance of any heart at all, they show up tonight.
Let me just say, this Raptors Magic game is the gift that keeps on giving. Because every time Gabe tells me something different about it, it's my favorite thing I've learned. So a 31-0 run or a 30-0 run and a 21-4 run, right? That's, I think, plus 47. That means the Magic still lost the rest of that game by 5. Like, how did they manage that? That is, I give you credit for stepping up because Phoenix is starting to, but again, I want to say Phoenix playing better basketball. They played Utah and Memphis, right? Like, half the time, you're like, ooh, this team's playing good. Are they? Or are they just playing tanking basketball teams? Like, Orlando at home, you'd rather them as a dog. I give you credit. I can't. It's funny. One of the other teams that I have no interest in betting, and this happens sometimes with Gabe and I, we go head to head, and I have to say, it feels like Gabe is due ever since I got lucky on the Bam Adebayo over-under night, which I can't still believe. But also, I don't even know if I'll be rooting my own pick in. I'm on the Rockets tonight against the Knicks. I can't stand this team. They can't stand each other. But a home dog for the Knicks on the West, I can't get there with the Knicks, Gabe. I took the Rockets on the money line.
All right, this is one that we are on the opposite side of, actually. I'm on the Knicks. We took the Knicks plus the points against Oklahoma City, believing that, listen, I'm getting 8.5, 9. It's enough. I know the Knicks struggles against elite teams. I don't think the Houston Rockets are an elite team. And something you just said about the Phoenix Suns, I actually like Phoenix better. Phoenix actually have a good team chemistry, right? Booker and Green get along. Let's not forget, Dillon Brooks was absolutely balling before he got injured. So Dillon Brooks is returning to the lineup tonight. I think Phoenix are going to be a tricky team to play. They're stuck in the play-in. It just kind of is what it is for them.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be a tricky team to play in the play-in when they have everybody. I think Phoenix are better kind of than Houston are. You talk about it. Houston do not have good team chemistry. And something you just said about Phoenix, look at Houston. Houston had lost 4 games in a row, Kevin. And who do they beat? They beat the Grizzlies and the Pelicans, right? They're coming off their 2 wins right now.
Yep.
Am I supposed to get excited about that? The Pelicans had a nice run. They hit a wall right now. So, yeah, Houston won the last couple of games against bad teams. So now you're playing a Knick team coming off a loss. They've had a day off, Kevin. And you look at the Knicks' schedule. It's a pretty rough schedule to end the season. They play a lot of good teams. So they better not, develop bad habits. And, you don't want to go into the playoffs in a losing streak here. And also, drop another spot in the seeds.
Yeah, it's one of those, I'm not going to blame anyone for being on the Knicks. This isn't something like, the Rockets are my favorite pick on this slate tonight. They are good at home, and I somewhat feel like that fits for a team who hates one. But let's be right, they hate each other. There's Durant, Ime Udoka, and Alperen Şengün. 1, if not 2 of that trio will be gone this summer. I absolutely promise you that. They're bad on the road because they're all together. I can't get away from this guy. And they're just awful on the road. They're much better at home here. Something that we might agree on, though, tonight, Gabe. I'm on your Toronto Raptors. At some point, the Cade Cunningham-less Pistons can't be the best team in basketball, okay? They nearly ruined that moneyline favorites parlay.
Yeah, last night.
They're in overtime. How did that happen?
Yeah, 114-110. They gave Oklahoma City all that they could handle last night. Now they play a Raptor team that actually beat them, Kevin, about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. They just played, and that was kind of a statement game. I've been a little bit hard on my Raptors. I'm just realistic. I'm not like some sort of pom-pom waiver when I say I'll call them out. But at the same point in time, you know what? I say, they don't beat teams. Well, they beat Detroit the last time they played, right? They just smoked Orlando by 52.
Yes.
The Raptors can be good. And I think this is a big game for the Raptors. And
I agree.
If you read between the lines with the Pistons, I don't know if you read the quotes from the staff today, Kevin, but it was a lot of, we're competing and we're trying to win, but optimal health for the playoffs. They didn't hide it. He dropped it a couple of times. Big picture, ultimate health, right? You know what I mean? A lot of basketball ahead of us. A lot of stuff. The Pistons see the light at the end of the tunnel right now. They're winning, but as you stated, they're almost just winning because they're that good right now.
Yeah, I think it's a Raptor night. We'll go through the NBA, the baseball, the NHL, all here on SportsGrid. Game time decisions on a Tuesday. You could certainly argue, and again, we got a lot of good games, that the most important games played today already happened with some World Cup qualifiers, including Italy, again, missing the World Cup, which is crazy. I don't know if it's a perfect comparison, but it'd be like if the Summer Olympics came around and I'm like, by the way, who's on the roster for the USA men's basketball team? They're like, nobody. They didn't make it. They didn't what? They didn't make it? Like, Italy are supposed to be like, we're on like Brazil right now, right? Brazil's like, it's been too long since we've won. Italy can't make the World Cup. That's wildly embarrassing.
They were minus 600 favorites today, even on the road. Minus 600. So massive favorites. It should be noted that they were a man down for basically half the match. So a guy got kicked out of the game, and they brought it upon themselves by being in this qualifying situation and having to go on the road to Bosnia-Herzegovina. And it was a wild, wild scene there. You know what I mean? And right from the start, Kevin, smaller dressing room, locker room, Italy's manager complained about the playing conditions and said it's not like up to world-class like stuff. You brought it upon yourself, bro. That's the beautiful thing about World Cup qualifying, right? You're going to have to go to some stadiums sometime. If you don't like it, you know what I mean? Don't put yourself in this spot. They end up going to penalty kicks, but I couldn't help but see like the gloating and the glee of so many people out there, Kevin, to see them lose. And Italy, to me, I think they're like the Cowboys, right? They're the Dallas Cowboys, basically. They're this ultimate sort of public team, big merch, like, monsters.
That's a good one.
Yet they really haven't won in a while. Now, listen, they did squeeze in a Euro championship, which is kind of like a miracle because they're the first World Cup nation. What's that, Kevin?
It makes it weirder that they've had success in the Euro.
Yeah, they squeezed in the Euro. Yeah, they squeezed in the Euro title. But they weren't good, and then they win the Euro, and then they go back to this. But we're talking about a world superpower. But I tell you what, Kevin, NIL has changed everything, evidently. That's what I was thinking. People are like, oh, Italy this, and I'm like, it must be NIL fault, right? They're almost like the SEC. Like, it's like, but it's a new era.
Mm-hmm.
They're like slower. They're not like, they don't scare anybody. You know what I mean? They don't have, like, there was a reason why they just tied Bosnia 1-1 and went to penalty kicks. Yeah. Like, they don't have these players that put the fear of God into people anymore. They used to be impossible to score on. They've lost their identity. As you stated, Brazil aren't the super mega power, but they haven't fallen like this. Like, they still make the World Cup. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
They just haven't won. And Argentina, with Messi, sort of become the kingpins from that region. But wild stuff. And the winner played Canada, actually. So now the group is set. And not the best news for Team USA either, Kevin, with Turkey qualifying. Turkey are good. And Turkey will now be in the USA group. So USA are playing Australia, Paraguay, and Turkey. None of which are easy. Like, all winnable, but not easy. And Canada will now get Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland, which isn't like a lot. That's like a lot better than playing Italy, because the game would have been in Toronto, Kevin. Mm-hmm. And like New York, bro, like there's literally like 500,000 Italians in Toronto.
That's funny.
Like, there's videos today. You would have thought it was Italy, like the streets and stuff and the bars for the game today. It would have been like a road game. Like, it would have been like Canada. It would have been like USA playing Mexico and Los Angeles. Like, it's a home game for Mexico. Like, point blank. Same thing. Like, you play in Texas or something. Like, it would have been like a pro-Italian crowd. So Canada didn't even hide it. Like, I love when coaches are honest. And he goes, yeah, I hope Italy get eliminated. Like, point blank.
That's funny.
Like, a lot of times, we'll play who we play. He said, no, I'm not going to lie. He goes, we all know, like, the Italians will take the stadium over. He goes, I hope it's not Italy.
You think about the World Baseball Classic, right? I mean, I think that added to the tension a little bit for the U.S. is they felt just like, what is this kind of around us at times?
And how about the curse that continues, Kevin, with the WBC? with the U.S. players. Unbelievable. Like, I got the numbers here. I wanted to throw this at you, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Should be noted, though, that Josh Naylor, Canadian, is like 0 for 18 to start the season. But Team USA, Paul Skeens, ERA 6.7.50, 67. Logan Webb, 10.80. Cal Rowley's hitting 133. Gunnar Henderson's hitting 0.83. Bryce Harper's hitting 0.91. Aaron Judge is hitting 154. And Kyle Schwarber's hitting 154.
What's
I don't know how this team made it to the final.
Right. But Gabe, here's the interesting thing, right? I don't know if it's just them. Otani's batting under 200.
Yeah.
Tatis is like 200. Machado's under 200.
I just said Josh Naylor's like 0 for 18. He was on Team Canada.
What's Vladdy hitting? Why did he? Yeah, Vladdy's like 308. Just solid. No problem.
Yeah, what did Soroka do last night? Didn't Soroka pitch well?
He had an immaculate inning. So someone figure that out for me.
Yeah, so he pitched in the WBC for Team Canada. Yeah, Soroka stepped up. I'm telling you, he's fighting for his career. He looked good in the WBC. He had a good sort of camp and stuff, so good for him. Big first start.
214. Who else was it? Aren't all the Royals? Can't the Royals like not score? There's like 400 Royals who played in the WBC.
Yeah. So it looks like the WBC is hurt. Yeah.
Here's the funny thing though. Everyone said nothing but great things about the WBC. If everyone's favorite players start to stink, the whole thing will be ruined. The entire thing is going to be Bobby Witt's hitting 260. Pasquantino, 154. Where's Caglione, 200? How is Cags batting 200? I mean, he's batting 7th in this lineup, too. Yeah, it's a little bit of everywhere. I don't know if I'm missing any, like, major guys, Gabe, but
there's a pattern. There's no disputing it. So Shohei Ohtani still looking for his first home run. He's pitching tonight. And oftentimes when he's pitched, he actually does hit home runs as well. As crazy as it sounds, right? So, like, last night was the first night I bet him to hit a home run. So I'm almost locked in now. I've almost got to start to ride. I almost have to start the chase now.
We'll talk more about Ohtani with Craig Mish after the break on SportsGrid. Game time decisions on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Craig Mish with us here, host of Newswire Pro Baseball Today, covering all things Major League Baseball. And Craig, something different popping up now contract-wise. I'm sure you've seen this, where the Brewers, made this big deal with a minor leaguer, and then the Mariners come over the top, almost $100 million to a kid who has never played an inning of big league baseball.
Yeah.
People are making a lot of assumptions about what this means. What does it mean to you?
Not much. This is a carryover from opening day. Again, Kevin, home openers coming here for a lot of teams too. They discuss these deals. They try to get things done to buy a player out of a year of arbitration, as they say. And, it's an old saying here, it takes two to tango, right? No one knows that. The kids have no idea what I'm talking about here, but that's all it is here. So, look, there are some players who are going to be motivated to set themselves up for life by getting that extra year of pay and having the ARB year bought out. And there is an investment, of course, in a younger player here, but you're not seeing anything significant, Kevin. Like these deals are just buying out the players over their arbitration years plus one. This isn't like a 10-year contract for a player who's under control for 6 years. So I don't make too much of it. It's a little bit like a goodwill statement, like we're going to keep players around. And generally speaking, once we get through all of the home openers this weekend and early next week, you're not going to see a lot of these.
That's pretty interesting. So there are a couple of pitchers I want to ask you about today, Craig. Unsurprisingly, Ohtani being one of them, as he's going to take the mound for the first time this season. What are your expectations for Shohei the pitcher this year? Because I find this to still be, there are people who are like so far, but like a little far removed, where they're like, you think he's going to win Cy Young? And at least in my brain, I'm like, that's nonsense. There's no way he possibly wins Cy Young. I wonder, does he have 20 starts? Does he have 25 starts, right? Do they pull things back? Where do you land on Ohtani, the pitcher?
Yeah, it's really hard because he operates in mystery, like there's just so much with this guy. Like, he doesn't take batting practice on a field. Like, no one sees him until the games begin. The sense I get, and this is without any information, it's just sense. The sense I get is they let Ohtani ride a lot this season at starting pitcher. Kevin, this is pretty early on in the season to see him. We saw him pitch in an exhibition game a little bit more than what we're usually used to seeing. I think you may get the most innings from Ohtani. I think you may get his most strikeouts over the course of his career. I think they're going to let him loose a little bit on the mound this year. I do. And that's just a hunch, a belief that I have. Just the way that they've handled him this year is a lot different than the past.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I mean, for those that, I would imagine it's Ohtani, everyone knows, right? But came over to the Dodgers, couldn't really pitch right away for this ball club. Last year, 14 starts for this team, but less than 50 innings. So, if you get, 200 innings sounds outrageous, but...
No, I think that's high. That's high.
Right. His career
that's
high
really
is
high.
166.
Right.
If he can get to that number, you might be talking about
fair. Right.
a 200 strikeout season for Shohei.
Yeah.
There's another pitcher I want to ask you about, and this is where I will admit, Craig, it is possible there is some New York bias driving my fascination. Though you see this guy, maybe not. It's not about it. Hey, is Max Fried Cy Young?
He's good. Yeah.
I'll be fascinated by Jacob deGrom every single time he takes the mound until his career is over. For me, and again, I don't span as far as everyone, probably the most dominant pitcher I've seen. And like but DeGrom's already missed a start this year, which feels impossible for it to be true, but is true. What do you make of Jacob deGrom, a guy who's so dominant with the Mets? Like, joined the Rangers, won a World Series, didn't actually pitch, though. What do you make of Jacob deGrom?
Look, back nine of his career. If you said to me, rather than giving me a start prop for this season, I'll give you the start prop for the rest of his career. I would say the over-under for starts remaining in his career is probably less than 50. I would guess that, like 20 this year, 20 the next year, 10 maybe the year after that. He's coming to the end. But when he's on the mound, he's as dominant as anyone. This is just Texas being super careful with a player that could be huge for them down the stretch. I don't look at it as any more than that. So I would guess you'll probably see him okay and pitching well, but a tough matchup tonight against Baltimore.
Yeah, I am. Again, this is one where it's like, again, I'm not even a Met fan. It's Jacob DeGrom. I'm always going to watch and pay attention. Craig, thanks so much. As always, we'll be right back here on Sports. All right, back right here on Sports Grid. And we talked to Craig a little bit about Ohtani. We were just starting to get into it, myself and Gabe. I want to pick back up. Here's the thing. I don't like talking about trap lines too much or, it's too easy. And yet, the Dodgers-Guardians game is just staring at me. Where if you look at the Guardians games so far, they've won 3. The 2 losses are 13-1 if you combine them. I know the Dodgers have not covered the run line in 2 of their 3 victories this season, but with Ohtani going, Ohtani more than due to get it going at the plate here. I don't have interest really in using the Dodgers as a moneyline parlay piece, Gabe. I have more interest in the run line or even going up to like 2.5, 3.5 and see if they just get rolling here.
I agree with your take. I would just lay the run line or pass or play the props. Ohtani's strikeout prop is 6.5, guys. And for the record, Tanner Beebe's 4.5. Incredibly high, isn't it? Yeah, for his first start. I mean, he didn't pitch much last year. Now, and now here we go. It's 6.5. It's last night Sasaki got there for the record. And you know what? The Dodgers didn't win last night, but it wasn't because of Sasaki, Kevin. So that was a positive sign for Sasaki and the Dodgers. Yeah, it wasn't easy for him. I know it was like 78 pitches or so, but he left the baseball game and it was a 1-run game. What more do you want him to do? Right? Mm-hmm. So he did his job last night. I'm a little bit put off by the Sasaki number here at 7.5, but we hit last night with Luis Castillo in the Yankee game. And if you recall last night, I brought it up, Kevin. I said, we got to attack these strikeout props earlier because they're going to get stupid high fast. And Dude, I remember like in past, 6.5 was a lot, right? Like even mid-season, like Yamamoto would be 6.5 and maybe 7.5 at times. We're already into the 7.5s. Tonight, Logan Gilbert, like with the Yankees. I figured, all right, yeah, exactly, guys. Like the Yankees, say what you will about them this year, whatnot. You know, they've won games, they didn't win last night, etc. But they strike out a lot. They've gone over their strikeout prop like in every game, essentially. Like the opposing pitcher has gone over his number. And last night, Luis Castillo went over his number and pretty quickly, too. He got to 6 like in like 4 innings or whatnot. So I'm thinking, all right, I don't want to overthink things. I'll go right back to it. But I see they post a 7.5 for Gilbert tonight, man. Kevin, 7.5. We're in the first week of the season. I mean, what are we going to have? Like 9.5? Like Skeens is 8.5 only at times. Like if Logan Gilbert's in the world are 7.5, it goes to show the odds makers have caught on to the modern analytics of baseball that everybody strikes out all the time now.
I'm glad you mentioned that one specifically, though, because I feel as if that one really drives home what you've been talking about, where Logan Gilbert's strikeout prop was 6.5 in that opening game against the Guardians. So they just added a full strikeout because it's the Yankees. Logan Gilbert's not even a favorite tonight. The Yankees are actually favorites.
Yeah, and he's also not some sort of strikeout king either. You know what I mean? That's another thing. He's a good pitcher, but it's not like, oh, yeah, he's known for like, hey, he's a dominant strikeout pitcher. And you got to lay 7.5.
It's a big, big number. It's not a number that I'm getting involved with whatsoever. The other thing I will say, and I feel like I'm going to need like a week before I can start to bet any of these Yankee games because they're tough numbers where like the Yankees don't look like the side. The Yankees are favorites in Seattle against Logan Gilbert, who's supposed to be their ace. Seattle are supposed to be the second or third best team in the American League. Like the Dodgers being favored here, obviously. I didn't think many teams would walk into Seattle being favored against Logan Gilbert. I know it's slight, but it could be slight the other way, and it's not. They're taking bets on the Yankees.
It's the Yankees public, the Yankees sort of, being the public team. And also, quite frankly, I don't think a lot of people fully believe in Seattle's offense. And I'm not sure I fully believe in Seattle's offense. Do you? No. I mean, we talk about Cal Raleigh, and it's funny, remember we talked about him not playing, but I said, yeah, he could come in and contribute, though. And he ends up coming in with the big hit. Maybe that'll get him going, right? But Seattle's offense, even last year, right, it got going, and, they sort of scored runs at the right time last year as the season went on. And I think they were better than sort of like the perception was. But at the same point in time, this is an offense that struggles to put runs on the board.
Yeah, it just is. I'm not – this isn't a game I'm getting involved with. It's funny, Gabe. I actually have 2 strikeout props, same game, one guy over, one guy under. So I took Woodruff over 5.5. This is one that I don't think they've adjusted a ton here. Brandon Woodruff would have been the opening day starter for Milwaukee if he was good to go. He's good to go now. I think he can get to 6 against this Tampa lineup. The McClanahan number's a little high at 5.5. Little pricey on the unders. Always want to shop around. Bet Rivers had a minus.
I like where you go with the. I think we got to go under here. I'm glad you bring up McClanahan. Guy, it's his first start in like 2 years?
Yeah.
Like, how long is he really going tonight? How long is he really going? And I wanted to get to the kid making his debut on Philadelphia tonight, too, and his strikeout prop. But I'm glad you brought up McClanahan. I'm pulling the trigger with Milwaukee. And here we go. Isn't it deja vu all over again, Kevin, with the Milwaukee Brewers? All we hear every year in the offseason, last year was a fluke. They're not gonna do this. They're not gonna do that. And here we go again. They're just putting a ton of runs up on the board. Now I know it's who you play early, but I actually do like the Brew Crew tonight, and I like the under strikeout prop from McClanahan.
Yeah, the one thing I'll also add just with some of the strikeout props, and you got to be careful with the parlays, but sometimes you get these guys minus 160 for an under. If there's another guy you might like at minus 160, and you bring them together, you start to deal with a plus 150, and if you can hit enough of those, right, to make it worth it. Where, like, Brian Bello for Boston, that 4.5 is too high. But no one's straight betting minus 175 on Brian Bello under strikeouts, right? So you can pair that with a guy like a McClanahan or an Eric Fetty tonight, right? Getting the ball for Chicago in South Beach against the Marlins. So I think it gives you a couple of different things that you can play with. on these strikeout props here. The one other thing that I'm just trying to get a sense of early season within Major League Baseball, right, is just who can you trust for moneyline parlays? Who are just worth straight betting, right? Like, are the Mets a good bet tonight at minus 140? Are the Cubs a good bet tonight at minus 140? They're interesting, but I'm not in love with it. I don't love Tyone. Senga on the road. I'm not sure.
In the same way, Kevin, are the Blue Jays a good bet at minus 270? I don't think so.
My gosh. Yeah.
It's just too high of a number to lay. And for the record, Scherzer on the hill in that game. But we're early in the season right now. Can you trust any team to lay this type of number? I say no. Hell, we saw Paul Skeens get lit up, right? There's no one invincible. And, especially this early in the season before teams are worn out and you've actually seen a pattern. I want to bring up the Painter kid. So this is a long time coming. He's a second prospect, big-time prospect in the Phillies organization. He's been delayed, his progress. Been 3 years coming, his Major League Baseball debut, because he had Tommy John surgery. So here we go. This is it. There's a lot of excitement. In fact, I've heard the comparisons, the most excitement for a pitcher to start in Philadelphia since Cole Hamels, like as far as like someone coming up and the hype, etc. His strikeout prop is 4.5. He pitched like 11 innings in spring training, Kevin. He had like 8 strikeouts. So, and listen, they need him. They need an effort. Philadelphia are stumbling. And I threw out the first. It's funny because I saw The Athletic give their baseball picks for the season. And they said, manager of the year, Rob Thompson. And I responded. I said, that's funny because I just gave on my show, Rob Thompson will be the first manager to be fired this year. I think he will be. I think he will be. I think they're kind of fed up. And in Philadelphia, they're going to blame someone, right? Even if it's not his fault because the vets don't hit. But with that being said, it's a big game tonight. They need something from this kid. A lot of hype. His strikeout prop is 4.5. I wish it was 3.5. I still think he gets to 5.
Turner, Schwarber, and Harper are 5 for 50 to start this season.
Turner's just not the same player.
He's the best out of the trio. Bro. He's the best out of the 3. All right, game time decisions back here on a Tuesday night. Producer pick off and running. We've got the Pirates from AJ on the road in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh looking to put a win up on the board. Logan Webb strikeout. Gabe, that's pretty straightforward from our guy Chris back there. Over the 5.5 Ks, nice and simple. I don't mind the look at all on Logan Webb against that Padres team. Classic Yarnell. The Lauder for a home run, plus 510.
I'm surprised Yarnell didn't come at us with some Buffalo Sabre action tonight, considering the Sabres.
Must not like them.
Sabres aren't playing. They're a little too big of favorites tonight against the Islanders, who did play last night, just for the record. Quick check of the National Hockey League. There are some intriguing matchups. It's getting real right now, Kevin, in the NHL. So, we're down to the final, right? We're down to the final sort of countdown now. And the Carolina Hurricanes and the Columbus Blue Jackets, an interesting game to me tonight. We've talked about this Blue Jacket team. They were on fire since they made the coaching change with Rick Bowness. But they've lost 3 of their last 4 games right now. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Canadians beat the Canes again, bro. Right? The Montreal Canadiens are good against good teams. Now they're playing Tampa tonight. Yeah, they beat them. They had to beat them 3-1 over the weekend. So I almost think it's the kind of like the nail in the coffin, actually, a little bit, or sort of not quite yet, but another sort of push towards the end of the cliff for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. I expect Carolina to win this hockey game this evening. Like I said, the Islanders and the Sabres, kind of a big number. You got Dallas in Boston tonight, and here's another one. I tell you what, the Dallas Stars, they've had a lot of injuries. I don't know if they peaked a little bit too soon, but I get the feeling tonight, Kevin, the Boston Bruins are the side tonight on their home ice. The odds makers kind of agree. We're only getting plus 110, but I think they're a very live dog tonight.
A couple of things that just stand out to me. You mentioned the Islanders are playing a back-to-back. So are Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh all of a sudden scored, what was it, 8 goals in that game?
We talked about it last night about how these two teams always go over the number. And you know what's wild? They didn't score any goals in the first period.
Which is, that's
they scored
really
8 goals in the second period, but not in the first, of course. Yeah, one of those insane games last night. And now you get the Penguins hosting the Red Wings this evening, the Canadians against Tampa. Like I said, big card tonight in the NHL.
Edmonton, one thing that also just stands out to me, almost every total 6.5, except for, from what I see, Flyers, Caps, and Winnipeg, Chicago. And I know, the NHL totals are either going to be 5.5 or 6.5 here, but it almost makes the Edmonton number feel a little bit better. Like, if everything's 6.5, should an Oilers be 6.5 at minus 105? I know there's no Draisaitl, but McDavid's been McDavid, right? I mean, multiple points every single game, at least during the 3-game win streak. So that stands out a little bit as well, Gabe.
It's amazing how bad the Oilers are defensively. People blame their goaltending all the time, and they blame the goalies, and they go through, they've gone through a million goalies over the years. They give up a million legitimate scoring and dangerous scoring opportunities. That's their real problem. But the NHL has been playing to the over. Listen, we're also sort of in the stat padding time of the year right now in the NHL too, right? Let's be real. People call out the NBA a lot for their flaws, but the Florida Panthers basically said, we're not playing anybody for the rest of the year. They've made it to 3 straight cup finals. They're worn out. They're beat up. They're not going to the playoffs. What's the point, right? So, they're kind of open and honest about it. You got Ottawa as big favorites tonight on the road. But you get other teams that are just sort of getting after it, right? That are trying to put numbers up. The Devils and Rangers is a good example, Kevin. These teams have no incentive to play defense, right? And you'll notice, there's been a lot of goals in their team's game. So I would go over the Devils Rangers due to that. Sort of like an NBA game when there's 2 bad teams playing.
Absolutely.
Who's going to play defense at this time of the year?
Another thing I just saw too, and I don't know how much, Gabe, you're into the NHL awards, but McKinnon had been a decent favorite for a while when we talk about the MVP. He's down to minus 110. Kucherov all of a sudden plus 115. It's not even McDavid kind of making the inroads here, but Kucherov in 5 less games has now actually passed McKinnon from a total points end of it here. obviously you think about two of the best teams in the league in Colorado and Tampa Bay. I don't know if that's something that you've been tracking at all, Gabe, but that caught me a little bit by surprise to see that McKinnon number now where it is.
Yeah, interesting that it's fallen like this. I'm glad that you bring this up. It's a media-driven award, right? The media is the one that decides this, and Nate McKinnon is popular with the media. Kucherov kind of is not. I'll be real. They're going to vote for the Canadian guy. Like, there's a lot, put it this way, there's a lot more Canadian voters than there are Russian voters. Point blank.
I imagine that to be
like Canadian
very, very, very
NHL
true.
media is very Canadian heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, Kucherov would have to really, really like do something like completely special. He's in the mix now. I get it. He's in the mix. But I got Connor McDavid right now, minus 105. For the Art Ross, Kucherov plus 125, McKinnon plus 600, McKinnon 115, Kucherov plus 110, and McDavid 11-1. I'll still say McKinnon right now. I'll still say McKinnon.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Coach of the year. How the hell do we not bet Lindy Ruff, actually, of the Buffalo Sabres?
Minus
Getting the team into the playoffs for the first time since 2010, 2011. John Cooper's won Stanley Cups before. They're not giving John Cooper a coach of the year for having a stacked team in Tampa, okay? You guys got a bunch of stars. Rick Bowness was nice. Was nice. Columbia, the dude coached 25 games or something. They've hit the wall. They're not, you know what I mean? Joel Quenneville in Anaheim ain't going to win. Damn Hughes ain't winning. Martin St. Louis done a great job with the Canadians, but he ain't winning Coach of the Year. This is a slam dunk lock. Lindy Ruff is Coach of the Year.
They won't let me parlay Lindy Ruff with Michigan to win the title. I really want
because they know. Because they know.
I needed to see if Gabe was going to place that bet. Come on. Let me in. I got to look around every
Lindy Ruff.
thing. All right, we got a couple of things to handle. I want to start with this. Shout out LeBron James for the triple-double last night. Shout out the bookkeeper. LeBron, I'll say this, Gabe. If that game was on the road, LeBron would have had to play a little more fourth quarter basketball because that last rebound, he was helping him out. He kind of had possession. They gave him a rebound and a turnover because he threw it back in and a Wizard got it. So I was like, fantastic. That's a little bit of home cooking there on the triple.
Braun owes him a gift certificate for a nice restaurant in Beverly Hills, a little under the little envelope after the game on the scorekeeper's table. You'll like this though. Well, listen, say what you will about LeBron, and he is all about padding stats. Let's be real. We give him credit, but he plays a lot, stays on the court. He likes breaking records and racking up numbers, and this kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but. He's one win away from becoming the winningest player of all time in the playoffs and in the regular season. He tied Kareem Abdul-Jabbar last night. 1,228 wins, Kevin, combined playing in the regular season and the playoffs. One more win, he'll pass Kareem.
Well, so he's questionable. I feel
but
like you
throw in
basically
coaches.
just told me.
You throw in coaches, though, and it's a little different because I'm thinking what Pat Riley's had to win more games combined, right? Players, coach, yeah. Because the stat was, the record was as a player. Because it's got to be coaches that, hell, Doc Rivers, bro, say what you will, a Hall of Famer. That's what you say about Doc Rivers. Put some respect on his name. Hall of Famer, Doc Rivers. But Doc Rivers, no, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
So is Amari Stoudemire. But I don't have to pretend that Amari Stoudemire is amazing.
Hey, Amari Stoudemire is one of the greatest Jewish athletes of all time. But that's another story. That's another story. I knew you'd like that one. Didn't see that one coming.
I didn't. That's on me. I got to be more prepared for that. That's on me. All right, you got that one.
He is. He converted to Judaism. He converted to
You're right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yep. All right. You got me good there. All right. All right. Regroup. Here we go. What do we need tonight? This is a tough transition.
I'll give
yeah. Give the picks.
I
was going to do something else crazier. Do the picks.
I won't even get into Jaden Ivey. All right. That's another story.
Please.
Yeah. You know what's really wild though about Jaden Ivey is his mother is. Yeah, his mother is the head coach of Notre Dame. Which is just so, she's literally the head coach of the Notre Dame women's basketball team. All right, so we'll start off with the NHL. Boston Bruins. Like I said, I feel an upset tonight. Dallas are hitting the wall a little bit. I think they're kind of looking forward to the playoffs. Boston are fighting for the playoffs. Give me Boston on home ice tonight, plus 108/plus 110. Give me the Carolina Hurricanes on the road. In fact, I said the Lightning go to the Cup before the year started. I'm kind of buying into the Canes a little bit now. But the Canes are going to beat the Jackets tonight, I feel, minus 135. Give me the Brew Crew. Let's have a nice ice-cold brew with the Milwaukee Brewers tonight at minus 121. NBA basketball. Gut check time for the Orlando Magic, Kevin, as we talked about. Kind of mini gut check time for the New York Knicks tonight against the Houston Rockets. And a smoking hot team. I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what, Kevin, this Clipper team is completely different, bro. People thought when they traded Harden that it kind of blew it up or something. They have a lot more energy. Kawhi likes the attitude of the guys. Kawhi's actually happy. They've won 5 in a row. I'm going to lay the 5 with the Clip tonight against the Blazers.
They've been awesome. They get booked like a really good team. So you'd almost argue you're getting a good number here. They've won 5 in a row. It's been really – Kawhi Leonard is he's going to make the games, right? Has Kawhi played 65?
He's averaging 28 points a game, bro. He's averaging 28.
No wonder he plays every night. He needs to play 6 more games to make sure that he gets to 65 because then he will make All-NBA this year.
He's going to make all Landscaper of the year. I had to throw one last one.
Well, it's going to be his last. It's going to be his last All-NBA before he's forced into. He's going to go play baseball next year, Gabe. Pretty much Kawhi Leonard next season. Speaking of Kawhi on the Raptors tonight, I think this Pistons, we don't need our best player train comes to a halt. I'm on the other side, taking the Rockets. He's right. Gut check time for the Knicks. Just also gut check time for the Rockets. I'm taking the Rockets in a gut check off. Don't feel great about it, but the bet's already in. McClanahan under the strikeouts. Woodruff over the strikeouts tonight here. And then basically
I like the first three.
hopefully going to win all of them, Gabe, and then roll it over into a bunch of Ohtani bets. That's pretty much the plan here.
Let's go
Tuesday
Painter
night.
over 4.5.
Here we go. We'll see you tomorrow.